These are the Raycon Everyday Clip earbuds. And the shape of them, it makes them amazing. You see that there? You put the ball side in your ear and the clip at the back, and it like floats on your ear. You just put it on like that, and it just literally, it's like it's floating on your ear. You know how you normally, when you're wearing headphones, you get that ear fatigue. It's like, like maybe as you're sweating in the summer, it can be irritable. This is like the first headphone I've ever wore where I feel like I'm not wearing anything, and yet I can hear everything perfectly. And another great thing is when you're out and about, you listen to your music, you don't have to press pause to have a conversation with someone, or if a car goes past, you're aware of what's going on around you. It's not complete silence outside of what you're listening to, and you don't have to keep stopping and starting in order to interact with people. And you get all of that without compromising on the sound quality. And you've also got multi-point connection with these, so you can flick between your mobile, your laptop very, very quickly. And I'm only having to charge these about once a week because there's 30 hours of battery life in this thing. And with Raycon having 3 million customers and a 30-day guarantee, there's no reason to not try this out, especially when we're giving you 20% off. Just click the link in the description below, go to buyraycon.com/TrueGeordie clip, and you'll get 20% off your Everyday Clip earbuds. So a big thanks to Raycon for the headphones. I wear them every day. And a big thanks to any of you lot for getting the products, because obviously you're helping support the channel as well as sort yourself out with some bloody good headphones. This is Lindsay Clancy, a mother who killed her 3 children and said she did it because of postpartum psychosis. And this story might be the most twisted story, the most disturbing case I've ever covered in my entire life. Not just because of what she did, which as I was researching it gave me like the worst feeling. Imagining it was really, really like, don't even know if there's a word. That's how bad it was. And one of the reasons this case is so disturbing is that this woman is being supported by thousands upon thousands of women in America. We've never ever seen a child killer kill 3 of their own kids and have such unwavering, enormous support from women all over. Lindsay overnight has become the poster child for mental illness and hormonal imbalances and how women need to be better looked after when they have postpartum issues. They've even set up a GoFundMe for her, for like her legal fees and that. They're heading towards $1 million right now. And in today's video, I'm going to look at a couple of things, such as, was she psychotic? Was she really mentally insane? Or does she deserve full responsibility for her actions? And also, are all of these people right to be having so much sympathy for someone who killed 3 of their own children? And I think the best place to start is the postpartum issue here, because a lot of women feel like this isn't taken seriously enough. And I just want to start off by saying I believe postpartum depression is a real thing. You're going through a lot of hormonal changes, you're going through sleep deprivation, you're more run down than at any other point in your life, and you've also just pushed a fucking human being out of your body. I get it. You go through all of that, you're probably going to feel a bit depressed afterwards. That's not something I disagree with. And look, I'll be real, I do think that there will be probably a small fraction of women out there who use postpartum depression to behave however the fucking want and to not take any responsibility for their own actions, right? With every illness, there's always someone faking it, especially mental health. But I'm not going to deny, I do think that this is a real thing. Now, Lindsay Clancy is claiming she had something even more rare than postpartum depression, and that's postpartum psychosis, which is a whole nother ballgame. This is something from my research that is extremely rare. It usually strikes really fast for new mothers within the first 2 weeks of giving birth. It isn't a long-term condition. It from what I've read up, it's very fast-acting, a very acute illness. And like you would expect with the words psychosis, you get mood swings, you get hallucinations, you get delusion, disorganized thinking. Most women, from what I can tell, don't necessarily harm their children, but they're completely not all there. And I actually tried to look into how statistically probable was it for a woman with postpartum psychosis to harm their own child. From what I could see in the last decade, in the UK, there was only 1 case in 10 years of someone with this who harmed their own child. 1 case in about 7 million births. Let's be real. That could have been a misdiagnosis as well. That's how rare we're talking here. And when something is so rare, the knowledge on it, the research on it is always minimal. That's just how it's going to be. Now, here's an image of Patrick and Lindsay Clancy in happier times. They met in 2013. They got married 3 years later. He worked for Microsoft. She worked as a nurse. Quite an idyllic looking couple. They had a lovely home and they had their first 2 children. And while there was slight postpartum depression there, and it did seem to get worse with each birth, Other than that, before the third child was born, there was no like known big marital issues there. No major red flags. Now, when their third and final child was born in 2022, Patrick took 3 months of paternity leave off to be there for her to support the family. They also hired a nanny as well to lighten the load. And actually, Lindsay decided she wasn't going to return to work and she was just going to be a full-time mother. Now, around about 4 months after giving birth, Lindsay goes to see a psychiatrist and she talks about having anxiety, low mood, and feeling overwhelmed. They did put her on some medication, but that didn't seem to help. And actually, her symptoms got a bit worse. She said she was having insomnia, she was really having proper depression and feeling very numb. And from what I can tell, she was seeing multiple doctors around this time and getting different medications, which I don't think was the best idea looking back at it. But when the doctors asked, are you feeling like you're going to harm yourself or anyone else? She said no. Now, towards the end of the year, we're talking like 6-7 months after giving birth, she sees another medical practitioner and they prescribe a drug called Seroquel. At this point, the family seems to notice, all right, this isn't getting any better. I think she might be getting worse here. And there's some uncomfortable conversations had.
When she told you that she was having intrusive thoughts, did you ask her what they were?
Yeah.
And what was her response?
She described thoughts of hurting the kids or them having some sort of ailment. So like she was very worried that Cora had, whenever she had a stomach ache, she became overly worried that she was, had like a liver problem or something much more dramatic than it was.
Okay. But going back to that first part, she said she had thoughts of harming the kids. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And did she tell you whether or not she had specific thoughts of how she would harm the kids?
No.
And she didn't describe that as hearing this external voice telling her to harm the kids, correct?
Correct.
She told you she was having intrusive thoughts herself of harming the children, correct?
Correct.
And did you ask her how she was going to harm the kids?
I didn't ask it in that way. It was the same thing. I said, do you have a plan and is it disturbing to you? And she said no, and then she said yes. And
let me go back for a minute there. You said, do you have a plan? And she said no. What was the second question? Second part of the question?
I said, do you find it disturbing?
Okay.
And she said yes. And she described it as, really the way she was describing it as something that might happen to the kids.
So it was more something might happen than she might do something. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Now, as you remember at the start of the video, I said that postpartum psychosis, from all the data, it seems to happen right at the very beginning after you give birth. This is months and months and months down the road. And she didn't just tell him that she was having these fears of the children's safety. She also told her mother that she was having these intrusive thoughts. But not once did she tell a medical professional. At the end of the year in December, this is about 7 months after giving birth, she's assessed at a women and infants hospital. They didn't diagnose her with postpartum depression or psychosis. They actually thought she might be on too much medication. And in early January, she admits herself into a hospital for suicidal thoughts, insomnia, and racing thoughts. But when they question her, she says, I'm not planning on harming anyone. I'm more fearing for myself. And they discharged her after about 5 days. She continues having loads of appointments via video call with a psychiatric doctor. Says she's feeling depressed, says she's feeling numb. But when they question her, including on the 23rd of January, she denies feeling any suicidal or homicidal thoughts. The next day, she kills her kids. And she does it with zero warning to anyone that this is about to take place. Everything on that day was as normal can be. She takes her kid to a doctor's appointment, appears normal, sends pictures on her phone to her husband, nothing out the ordinary, plays in the snow with her kids when she gets home. Obviously it's January, they're building a snowman, sends more pictures to her husband, and later that day she suggests that her husband go out for a takeaway. You all know where this is fucking gone, don't you? She then goes on her phone and checks how long it will take him to drive there and back. He goes out to get the takeaway. He's also got some medication to pick up for one of the kids, I think. And while he's at the store, and while she's doing what she's doing to these children, he rings her to make sure he's got the right medication. He says when she's on the phone to her, she's fine. There's nothing out of the ordinary. She sounds like she's busy with something. That's what he said. Oh, she was busy. She was busy taking her 3 babies down to the basement and strangling them one by one with resistance bands. And this really, like, it gave me the worst feeling in the world, you know, when you're reading stuff like this, like imagining what the horror those babies must have felt when their own mother, who they trust more than anyone else in the world, is coming at them, trying to strangle the life out of them. And they're screaming and crying at her, because let's be honest, that's what they would have been doing. Why, mommy? Why? That's what they would have been saying. What are you doing to us? Why? And when you've seen one of them die, you know what's coming next, don't you? You know it's your turn. The fear, the horror, the pain, they would have been in severe pain. That's been confirmed in the trial. They were in so much pain that the blood vessels in their eyes, face, and lips were bursting. This woman did this to those children, and she made sure her husband was going to be out long enough so that she could get the job done. Now, when Patrick returns home, he goes in the house to find silence. He realizes that his wife's jumped out the fucking window from the second floor, and he discovers her outside injured. She'd fallen, obviously not very far, but she'd also slashed her wrists and her neck. As you can probably tell by the fact that she's still alive, she didn't slash them very deep. Superficial wounds. Now, he's immediately on the phone to the emergency services, and as he's on the phone to them, he realizes that she's also killed the kids. From what I've understand, he's made a point of making sure that that call isn't released. But for those who were in the courtroom while it was being played, this person says, I was one of the members of the press in the courtroom who heard the 911 call. And take it from me, if you heard his screams, not only would you never say he was responsible, you would never be able to forget it. You can only imagine when he sees those babies laying there dead and he's screaming in horror at what has been taken from him for the rest of his life. I can't think of a worse thing in the entire world. They did take the children to the hospital, obviously trying to save them. 2 were pronounced dead immediately and 1 died a couple of days later. But Lindsay survived. Now, her back was broken from the fall, which is surprising because she didn't fall very far, and she can't walk anymore. And a couple of days after the murder, they come to arrest her in hospital. And one of the first things she does, because she's able to write to communicate, is say, I need a lawyer, which I think just shows exactly the kind of person she is, in my opinion. Like, everyone's commenting on how the dad reacted. Like, she's immediately wanting a lawyer. Now, the first court hearing was on February the 6th, so over 10 days after she was initially arrested. And in that time, she met with her lawyer multiple times. More than enough times to come up with an idea of how we're going to try and get not guilty on this. And mysteriously, the day before our first court hearing, she lets everyone know for the first time ever, she was hearing voices.
And she had said that she heard a male voice ordering her, telling her that she didn't have any choice, but she had to kill her children and then kill herself.
And this is where the player of postpartum psychosis all came from. She was insane and therefore did not understand the wrongdoing of her actions according to the defense. So just to be clear here, this isn't about having anxiety or her being depressed or having insomnia. I believe all of those things. I think she probably did have some of those things. What we're talking about here is psychosis. And as someone whose father has suffered from psychosis for plenty of times, for a long time, I know a thing or two about this. And that's where this gets interesting for you lot, because unlike so many people flapping their gums out on this fucking topic out there, I've actually sectioned someone before. I've dealt with this shit. Granted, it wasn't postpartum psychosis, but psychosis is psychosis. There's many common things that you will see in anyone who suffers from psychosis, which means that this should be very easy to say whether or not she had it. And there was a lot of people who testified on her behalf, saying what a lovely mother she was, how caring she was, her mother, his mother. He even said she was a lovely person. I think they had over 70 witnesses in total. And I guess the intent was to go, look, this is out of character for her to do something like this because she's so lovely, therefore it must be psychosis. But that's not proof of psychosis, I'm afraid. All that says was it wasn't the version of her that we were used to. How many people out there have been very lovely to people we've admired, and then they've turned out to be murderer, rapist, pedo? This happens every fucking week. Something being out of character does not mean it was because you were a psycho. All that means is you didn't know them as well as you thought you did. Until I see psycho behavior, you're not psycho. And I'm going to be very clear on what psycho behavior is, because I know some of you might be thinking, well, she killed her kids. Yeah, but was she doing it knowing that it was wrong? Or was she completely out of her mind? That's the real question here. And a lot of people covering this like to muddy it up and try and make it all emotional and remove all logic. You're not fucking doing that with me around, I'm afraid. All of these cases I cover on this channel, you fucking know I stick to the fucking facts. One of the things many of them said on the stand was that she begged for help. And I think to an extent, she was trying to get some form of medical help. At no point, though, did she say to any medical professional, I'm going to kill these kids if you don't take them off me. They're in danger from me. Not once did she say that. And medical professionals, as great as they can be, they're not mind readers. If you lie to them, they're getting corrupted data. And we know by the outcome that she was thinking about killing them. We know that. And even when she told her own inner circle, she dumbed it down, she softened it by going, well, I'm just worried about what might happen to them as well. I'm not going to do anything, I'm just worried about something happening to them. That's how she framed it. Even they didn't get the full truth. Intrusive thoughts and the fear of something happening, that's not enough, I'm afraid. And for everyone saying she was failed by the medical professionals, they can only work with the data that they have. They repeatedly asked her, are you going to hurt yourself? Are you going to hurt anyone? She said, no, 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 no. The whole fucking time. I'm really depressed. That's what she said. But because so many women out there say themselves in this woman, because she comes from a lovely middle class background and she looks harmless or whatever, they want to blame it on anyone but her. That's what's going on here. Now, when we're looking for patterns of behaviour to show that she was insane, you obviously want to look at the run-up to her doing this horrific act. Well, in that run-up, she recognised that she wasn't well, was of sound mind and body enough to go and try and speak to doctors at least. She clearly explained her symptoms to everyone who spoke to her, and they spent many, many hours on the video calls to her, consistently having these calls. A whole bunch of different professionals seen her. All had time to be like, something's not right here. All of them, which is what they're supposed to do. They're trained to do that, by the way. She was living out her life, making rational decisions, carrying on about her routine without any episodes, without any big break-up in her behaviour at all. There was at no point did anyone need to do a double take of what's going on with her. Everything was consistent. And the defence are arguing, well, just because, you know, she was fine 1 minute and then went and killed her kids the next. Psychosis can come in waves. You can be fine 1 minute and then crazy the next. The problem with that is, that's not what happened. Let's think about all the months leading up to this triple murder. She was surrounded by her husband, who took many months off work. She had a nanny. She had very close relationships with her parents, her mother-in-law, a really good support group there. She's seen multiple medical professionals who had their eyes glued on her. All these people around her who were aware she's not 100% right now. So they were keeping an eye on her. They were looking for it. She even spent time inside hospitals and they signed her out and went, you're fine. Get yourself home. They weren't saying that for all those months they won't go and, she's fine sometimes, but then other times she seems completely off. Like, she's fine the whole time, man. Yeah, she's down, but there's no shred, no speck, not one mention of insanity. Not one on the run up to these murders. Not a glimmer, not a sign, nothing. And again, I'll make you very clear on what a fucking psychotic episode is in a bit. But she was going about her routine. Everything seemed okay, aside from her feeling down and depressed. The first time there was any mention of psychosis was 13 days after she killed those children. And guess what? That's the only evidence we have that says that this woman had psychosis. That's it. When she got on the phone after speaking to her lawyer multiple times, she said, I heard a voice. And that was all we've got. 70 witnesses talking for weeks in this trial, and all we've got is, I heard a voice 13 days after the fact. And of all the people who testified about her mental state, she wasn't one of them, interestingly. The only time we heard from her was when she started crying after the murders and the injuries that her children sustained were read out in court.
Or it could be more developed types of injuries, such as bruising or abrasions.
And what about injuries?
All right, Counsel, could... Want me to take a break this time, all right?
All right. George, close your notebook. Place them on the chairs, please.
I can't do it. Are they watching? I'm not buying it. No fucking way. They're describing the death of your children that you inflicted. You remember the fucking memory of what you did to them. If you were really traumatized and you were really torn up about what you did to them, you'd be wailing, screaming. She's covering her face on the desk because she doesn't want to show everyone that she doesn't give a fuck. That's how I feel about this. We've seen some performances in court cases before, and I tell you what, as serial killers go at acting, you know Ted Bundy, love. Oh, there was a man with some charisma. I'm disgusted in her, mate. Like, I think she's a fucking lying, low-down fucking, like, you can't even take the guilty and admit what you did. Disgusting. You killed your own kids, and everyone's supposed to believe you did it by insanity, and you won't get up there and tell us and make us understand and explain what it felt like. You don't want to go into all the details because they're going to pull you apart for the bullshit that you're talking about. How were you fine for months and months and months, and then one day this happens, and you're very clever in the way you organised it, almost like you knew what you were doing was wrong. And then 13 days later, oh, I was hearing a voice. I'm not buying it. When I looked at the psychiatric reports that were taken from after the fact, when they were looking at her closely, remember, she's just killed her kids There should be some elements where you can see the psychosis that she's going through right after. There was nothing. Fuck all. She was able to communicate clearly. She was calm, cooperative, organised in her thoughts. She admitted she didn't have any hallucinations at the time. No delusions, no wanting to harm anyone. In the days and weeks after, the doctor said no psychosis at all to speak of. None. Just went like that. Now I'm going to try to explain to you what psychosis is like when I've not been through, but just from what I've seen and the hours I've spoken to my dad about this shit. My dad thought he was like the second coming of Jesus. And it was funny because when he got sectioned, I'm on the phone to the doctors and they're like, yeah, he's saying that you are like quite famous and that you talk to other famous people on a YouTube channel. I'm like, no, that is actually true. That's not a delusion. Wouldn't call myself famous, but you get the point. I do talk to famous people, yeah. It was like a fucking weird day for me, that. And I'm finding it funny now, but it's fucking traumatic at the time, right? You're worrying about someone. I had to tell them, just be careful, you know, he might smash your face in, like, he's not to be trusted yet. He's a lovely guy, really. My dad's episodes lasted for a long time. I think months at times. And for him, they were scary because you're not in control, and the things that you're seeing to everyone else, it's nonsense. To him, it's the realest thing in the fucking world. You're inside a nightmare. And like a dream, at the time, when you're dreaming, right, when we're all dreaming, we don't know it's not real. When we come out of the dream, we realize, fucking hell, what was that all about? But when you're in the dream, you don't question anything. You just go with it. That's like being in an episode. It's like being on drugs. And you think that your reality is reality. You have no idea that your thoughts aren't normal. They feel very normal. You feel like the most normal person in the world, like you're doing all the right things. And because of that, and this is the key here, you have no reason to hide what you're doing because you don't know it's abnormal. You're not thinking, I don't want everyone else to know how mental I am. You don't know that you're mental. You have no idea, especially when you're having hallucinations. You don't hide anything from anyone. So taking it back to her, for her to deliberately send him out, time how long he's going to be when he's out, so that she can get away with killing her kids and knowing if he's there, he'll stop her. Why? Because it's wrong, and she knows it's wrong. Shows she wasn't psychotic at all. No fucking way. When he rings her, and she's strangling the kids and he's fucking checking on the medicine if it's the right one, and she's pretending like everything's fine. She's pretending like everything's fine because she doesn't want to arouse suspicion to the wrong she is doing, man. She is fully aware of it. My dad thought he was going back in time to fucking Egypt. He's telling everyone. He's not hiding it from anyone. I'm going back in time. I can't believe it. It's really going to fucking happen. Will you come with us? I'm scared. You don't know what you're doing is wrong. She fucking did. So if you're in the frame of mind where you're going to kill your kids, like, it's for good reason. If you're demented like that, you're telling people maybe, or you're saying how scared you are of them, they have to die because they're going to get me, or you're not hiding anything. They should have put me in the fucking courtroom because these fuckers are useless from what I've seen. And for everyone around the person who has psychosis, it is impossible to not notice it. The idea that she could have just passed for it for months on end and no one would have noticed while she secretly had it. Bullshit. They speak in word salad, their thoughts are racing, they can't hide anything from anyone. They think they're making sense, but they're not. When my dad got locked up, he was telling people that there was a fucking time warp in the fucking wall when he was in the cop shop. And he's like, can you not see it? Can you not see it? Like, that's how they talk, man. They're not like, I hope no one notices how fucking mental I am. No, they think that they're normal. Do you get that? Sorry, I've really overdone this point, but like in researching this and the amount of people who believe her, it's sickening. They think they can communicate to God. They think they can talk to a higher power. They've got extreme paranoia. Do you think these kind of things can just go under the radar? And after all that time of her fucking husband, her mother-in-law, her friends, her family, her doctors, the countless psychiatric appointments she had, not one person, not one seen a single second of it. The whole time until 13 days after she killed her kids, in which she calculated and planned it out to a T, and then all of a sudden I'm hearing voices. Very, very convenient after you've spoken to your lawyer multiple times. Let's not act like we haven't seen like family annihilators before, where people will try and take their kids out and they don't want to live anymore and they want to take their kids with them. And you don't need psychosis to do that. Unfortunately, there's just some sick fucks out there. But when it's a woman doing it, oh, there must be another reason. That's the way it's coming across right now. Extreme sexism. Got to find a way that she's some sort of victim when she fucking took the lives of her own children. I find it disgusting. And just for context, I think it's really important to put this picture on the screen right now because I am sick to death of people minimizing what she did. And I know we've all seen too much Netflix Netflix and true crime. These were three little babies, three beautiful little kids. And the things she did to them, I don't even want to say right now while I've got this photograph up on screen. Like, no matter what you've gone through as a mother, to be able to hurt beautiful little kids like that, it's just pure evil. And the fact that they're giving it, oh, well, she was psychotic. And I'm like, well, she was extreme with her force against her own children. Brutally. She made damn sure that she killed them. With herself, though, oh, there was little flesh wounds that she did. She was a fucking nurse. You're telling me she doesn't know how to take her own life? She doesn't know how to cut deep enough as a nurse? I think she wanted to make a show of it, and I think she didn't think for 1 second she'd break her back falling from 2 stories, because let's be real, how often does that happen? 2 stories. I think it was a big show, and she wanted to make it look dramatic because she was sick of her fucking life, and I think it's a disgrace. Now, unfortunately, it seems like Lindsay has a great lawyer, and the prosecution are piss poor from what I'm saying. He's asked so many questions, this lawyer, that he's even got people convinced that the father might somehow be behind it, even though she's admitted it was her, the prosecution have admitted it was her, and the defense have admitted it was her. And all of the evidence of him being away, coming back, finding them, being on the phone, it's all been corroborated. Everything's been checked. There is no evidence to say to him, for anyone writing it in the fucking comments. I'm sick to death of this Candace Owens generation of people who, because it's more interesting to go in a different direction than where all the fucking evidence is pointing, and you get more views and you get more clicks, that we're just going to accuse innocent fucking people. I'm sick of it, man. Facts and logic. That's what you get when you come to my channel. None of that shit. I'm sorry if I'm getting annoyed, but these little babies dying, nothing gets me more. And as great of a storyteller as her lawyer is, it shouldn't matter who's telling the fucking story. That's what should matter. The facts and the evidence. And the only evidence, as I've said, that they have got to show that she was psychotic is her own words 13 days later. They've got nothing, man. Pathetic. But when you pull on people's heartstrings and you, oh, she was a great mother, really, I think they're going to fucking let her off with it and say, all right, she was mentally ill, let's put her in a fucking mental home and she'll live quite comfortable for the rest of her life. And when you've seen her act so calculatedly, so consciously, and plan out every part of that murder, I just think it's unbelievable that that's what's going to happen. But look, we got to get onto the online reaction, because I think this is almost just as unbelievable. I will never see a day where men across the globe rally behind a father who's murdered his own kids. That'll never ever happen. We would never do that. I think like 30,000 women have donated to her GoFundMe to pay for all her legal and anything fucking else she needs. She is a victim in their minds, and I'm just stunned. This is the woman who started the GoFundMe.
And if that's how it shakes up that she did this, it's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking, because that is not what she didn't feel good, and she reached out and she wanted to fix it, but I don't believe she did it. I don't. Like, I will sit there and put my tinfoil hat on, but I don't believe she did it. And if there's a way that I can help ease her parents' financial burden, I'm going to do that.
I've seen this Muppet say a couple of times, well, she reached out for help, she didn't mean to do it, and then she goes, but I don't think she did it anyway. And I'm like, well, which is it? You're not making any fucking sense, you idiot. And this is all from someone who's financially supporting a fucking triple murderer.
Y'all are pissing me off. You're pissing me off about this Lindsay Clancy fucking case, because I'm getting real fucking tired. I'm getting really fucking tired of seeing these asshole accounts that are like, nobody's mentioning the kids and you're all advocating for a murderer. Excuse me, we're the ones that are trying to figure out who actually did this to these fucking poor ass innocent children.
She's literally confessed. She's confessed, you fucking idiot.
We care the most. We care about finding out the fucking truth, because the problem is a person, a mother, could possibly go to jail for the rest of her life and live out the rest of her miserable ass life thinking that she actually killed her fucking kids, and you don't want to make sure that it's true? Are you telling me that? Because you know what, I find it interesting that you think it's okay and it's normal for a man to go to Costa Rica for 3 weeks after his 3 babies were fucking murdered, and his wife is losing her mind in the fucking hospital.
What this woman is saying is that she's completely rejecting the fact that Lindsay Clancy herself has confessed to the murder and said, I remember doing it, I did it. The police, the investigation, the defense, the prosecution, they're all in agreement she did it. But the weird thing isn't the fact that a woman is admitting to the fact that she triple murdered her babies. It's that this guy left the country 3 weeks after because he didn't grieve right. And he should feel bad because his wife was losing her mind. Oh, really? He should feel terrible. He should feel so bad. You saying she should feel bad because she murdered his babies and that he didn't do anything wrong? No. Women are always the victim. Come on, guys. He went on holiday without her. Think about that. Get your priorities right, lads. He's bang out of order. Oh, there's loads of posts like this. She was their mother before she became a headline. Look at how dark this is, man. Like, they're ghosts with her. Like, this is some horror movie shit. And the way it's framed, again, she became a headline. She didn't become a headline. She became a murderer. You fucking idiots. Oh, it just happened to her. One day, her kids just died. It's as if she's just standing there and not doing nothing. All just happened around her. Accountability, motherfucker. For Christ's sakes, man. We're sick of it.
Are you a sheep? No. You're a dragon. Be a dragon.
I've seen enough. Patrick Clancy is about to be exposed for the lying psychopath he is. Let's follow the money, she says. While playing a quote from Game of Thrones where the woman says to Daenerys, be a dragon. Do you know how that ended? Well, Daenerys killed everybody. So weirdly, she's hit the fucking nail on the head there. But she's too stupid to realise it. But it's got to be a man's fault. It's got to be all about the man. He was really the one behind it, clearly.
Yep, she killed my kids. She's crazy. That's so sad. And then she jumped out the window and is a paraplegic now. It's weird that you got into a relationship 4 months later, though. What's weird about that? I don't know if my entire family was annihilated and my significant other was a paraplegic after jumping out of the window after doing that. I don't know if I would be dating.
Yeah, his family weren't annihilated. They were murdered by the murderer, who is his ex-wife. And you know when, like, someone murders your kids, even if you've had a romantic connection at some point before, usually that's grounds for separation. I don't know about you lot, but if someone kills your kids, I think it's best we go our separate ways now. Or is that unreasonable? Is he the weirdo for wanting to go and find another woman? Does that make him weird, does it? Right, got it. I didn't know that, you say. I'm just learning. It's the way these women talk. Oh, she strangled her kids, but no one's perfect. Sisterhood, yeah. Sisterhood. Fucking idiots. And it's not just the videos. There's fucking comments everywhere as well. The only thing the prosecution has proven so far is that she was an amazing mother. I mean, could have been any one of us. It could have been me. It could have been you. That's scary. That is you should be reported. Just to be clear. This is probably one of the most disturbing videos I've ever seen in my life online. They've got her in AI, obviously, and she's been joined by her kids. And I'm like, whoever made this, whoever sat there making this, you are so fucking disturbed in the head. What is the internet? Stop the planet. I want to get off. This video here apparently is a licensed therapist talking, so just bear that in mind.
Never before have we seen so many mothers and women rally behind somebody who confessed to killing her 3 children.
I love how she says that, like it's such a great thing.
It is not because we cannot hold women accountable. Many of us see ourselves in Lindsay. Many of us know that we could have been only one step away from doing some of those horrific things because we experienced significant mental health issues after one of our children was born.
This is where I'm never, ever going to agree. Without getting too deep, I've been rock bottom in my life. The idea of hurting a child, it could never enter my fucking head. And the fact that these women are having the fucking brass neck to go on online and say that they've thought about the same things. Do you understand how sexist this world is, by the way? Imagine men were coming out and saying all this fucking crazy shit. Men wouldn't be supporting other men, by the way. They'd be reporting other men. And yet they're fucking... Slay, sister. Oh, sisterhood. Love it. Yeah. Tell us more about how you wanted to kill your kids. We're in a lunatic asylum now, like. This lady here, new theory. He killed the kids. He was the voice that she heard. The man talking, it was him all along. He threw her out the window. She woke up and she was told what she did. I mean, evidence doesn't matter. Evidence doesn't matter when you just want him to be guilty.
You are never going to make me hate Lindsay Clancy. You're just not. I know better than anyone that the government would rather prosecute mothers than ensure they're adequately supported.
You'll never make her hate her, no matter what. She could kill her kids. She'd be fine with it. Whatever the case, she's always going to love her. That's something I'd like to see them contemplate. What if it was your children she killed? Would you still be fine with that, would you? Go on. I've had it, love. Fucking idiots. And you know I'm a controversial YouTuber for saying this, apparently. I'm the controversial one. They're not controversial. They're just perfectly normal. I'm the weirdo. Do you want to give True Geordie a brand deal? Not sure about that. Like, he says really controversial stuff like, maybe women shouldn't kill their kids. Do we want to be associated with him? Anyone who's offensive to women, swerve it. This might be the most disturbing one yet, where she's hugging her baby, crying, filming herself crying, saying, same, Lindsay. As in, like, I've had those thoughts too. What else can that mean? She should be fucking reported. Couple of comments here from some very well-informed women who says, Leos don't kill, Geminis do. Turns out it was all about the star signs. We should have just read them out at the start of the trial. That would have closed the case very quick. Leos don't kill their cubs. Nope, not buying it. If he's a Gemini and she's a Leo, it was toxic between them and he did it. That's all I need to know. Oh my God, this is actually the worst, I think. Is this the worst? It really is tough to say. They're having their children write her letters. Good Lord. What on earth, man? This is so demonic. I never dreamt that this would happen. And all the fuckery I've watched happening in this world the last fucking 10 years, where you're like, am I fucking seeing things here? Am I psychotic? What the fuck is happening? And we've got all these women throwing support behind a fucking triple murderer. Our own kids squeezed the life out of them. What a fucking hero she is. And we've got screenshots of who is donating to this $1 million drive that they're doing for her. Dr. Jenny Shields, an assistant professor in psychology. And the amounts these women are all women, obviously, $5,000, $5,000, like, you could be putting that money towards so many good causes, and yet you're doing it for a child killer? So demonic, man. And this is the photograph they've used for the GoFundMe and that. It makes me fucking sick. This was when it was at 724,000. It's gone well beyond that. Women are now publicly doing videos to show their postpartum, I guess, rage off. Seeing the outpouring of emotion for Lindsay Clancy and the level of sympathy she's getting and the level of support she's getting, it's got me worried that we're going to see copycat killers, because sympathy online, from what I can see, is like a drug for people. Everyone's reaching out for it. I'm actually doing a video soon about people oversharing online and how out of control it is and people wanting sympathy, because I think that there is a real thing going on there, but this is a whole nother level. And the fact that we're normalizing, like, you can just do whatever you want if you're postpartum, like, there is no accountability. You can do whatever. Postpartum psychosis, that's why I did it. I'll be shocked if this is the last time we see something like this. I think if anything, it started something off, and it's actually scary as fuck. So look, that's all I've got to say for today. Please, in the comments, there will be really crazy people, I've got no doubt about it. Please just give me some faith in humanity, for Christ's sakes. Make me realize that I'm not the only one who thinks that this is all mental. Big love for all the support on the channel and the lovely comments. I really appreciate every single one of you. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one.